Okay, well, Cheech and Chong's next movie, was that the one with the pendejo skit?
Yeah, it was. It
Right.
was.
Where it was like, you're like, hey, call those people a pendejo. It's like, what does that mean? Oh, it means a very good friend. And then he pulled up to the group of Mexicans like, hey, pendejos.
Hey,
And they all get angry.
bendecos. It's called them bendecos. It was even worse.
Okay, and this movie became a hit also. It made $42 million at the box office.
Yeah. We're doing good.
So now the sophomore jinx is over. You guys have 2 hit movies. Yeah. You guys are actual movie stars now.
Yeah, we're actually, a well-known worldwide comedy team at this point, and it was going really good until it wasn't. And it was, we'd been together for a long time, and I think both of us needed a break, at that point.
Well, right, because in '81 you had the Nice Dreams movie.
Yeah,
that made $35 million.
Yeah.
So now there's 3 movies that are that did well. Then in '82 there's the Things Are Tough All Over movie. $7 million budget. It made $21 million. And this movie, it did well, but it didn't do as well as the other ones.
Yeah, I think you'll find that true with any actor or any group or anybody that goes into movies. Some do better, some do worse. They don't just keep going off into the stratosphere and you never see them again or something. I don't know.
So then in '83 you had Still Smoking.
Yeah, that
made $15 million, but the reviews weren't as good as the other films.
Oh well, they didn't know what they were talking about. What would they? Yeah, they were reviewers. What do they know?
Okay. So then in 1984, you guys did the Corsican Brothers.
Mm.
Now, this was the first movie that wasn't based on kind of 2 stoners.
Yeah.
This was totally different. This was like, a period piece, swashbucklers. And I remember watching it, I thought it was a cool movie.
Yeah. A lot of people liked it.
But was that the movie with the French bread?
Yeah.
Tommy used the swords?
Yeah. They're hard as bricks.
Okay. And this movie only made $4 million.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that was basically the last live action movie that you guys did.
Well, that was.
Was it because the movie didn't do good that kind of caused some friction?
No, it was during that movie, making of that movie, that the friction was starting to build between us. He wants to do this and I want to do that, and it's too complicated to go into. But anyways, and I was going through a divorce at that same time when we ended the movie, and so I just left it at that. Okay, well, you want to live in France for a little while? Go. I'm going back to L.A. and deal with this divorce, and I just went home and just smoked dope and played guitar and But during that period, all of a sudden I started watching TV, and that's when MTV first started coming out. And I looked at it and said, these are videos, they're like songs, song titles, and they can be acting, and they can be funny, and they can be musical. It's perfect for us. We'll make video albums for MTV, and because that's what we're doing now. But we'll make them in shorter formats. I started writing stuff, and I told Tommy, "Hey, this is I ran on Hustle the Deal, a record deal with Irving Azoff. He was running Universal. Pitched him on the subject. I think Born in East L.A. came out of that. And so I wanted Tommy to come over and we'll finish the album. He didn't want to come and blah, blah, blah. And one thing led to another. And then I got the idea he didn't want to participate anymore. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to participate. And so I went on and started. So Born in East L.A. came on and it was a big hit.
All right. So the Get Out of My Room album had Born in East L.A., which was a, parody of Bruce Springsteen's Born in the U.S.A.
Uh-huh.
So did he have to sign off on that?
Yeah.
Or?
As long as you gave him money, he signed off on it.
Okay. So he had no problem signing off on it.
No, not I wrote him a big letter. Roy Bittan, who's his piano player, was one of my best friends during this period, and it didn't help me anyway. But I went right to Bruce, sent him a letter, and blah blah blah, and he read it. And okay to us to go do it, and away we went. Right? I would, anyways.
Well, no, I mean, I remember during that time on MTV, like Born in East L.A. was like a big hit.
Oh, it was huge. It was there again, a number one record and a number one video at the same time. Yay!
Yeah. So now you're an MTV star as well as a movie star and a music star.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk it? Okay. And based on the strength of that song, there's the Born in East L.A. movie.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that did really well. And
It
that
did.
was
It did.
that was great. It was a huge hit.
And you were actually the director of that film.
Writer and director, yeah.
Writer and director. And I mean, I remember watching it. It's basically, I remember the plot was that you were this Mexican-American guy and you get picked up by immigration. And since you don't have your papers on you, they assume that you're like an illegal alien. So they ship you back to Mexico. And then the rest of the movie is you trying to get back in the USA.
Yeah. It was based off a true story. I was reading the newspaper. I was writing the very last bits for this video album that what I wanted us to do, you know, and I was writing, and I needed one more song or one more bit, and I was reading my morning paper, drinking coffee, and I was reading this article in the paper. A kid was like around 12 or 13 and didn't speak English very well and not Spanish, where he had some kind of a developmental problem, and they thought he was just Mexican, and he was caught in a raid, and they sent him back to Tijuana, and nobody knew where he was. His parents didn't know where he was. He didn't know where he was. He was walking around in Tijuana without any clue for over a month. And they finally, you know, reconciled it and came back. And I started singing. And Springsteen's record was playing at the same time on the radio. And I said, too bad this kid was born in East L.A. And I started singing Born in East L.A. I started cracking myself up, you know. I said, that's it. That's the other song. And so I said, but I got to find out what Springsteen was singing about in this other, because all I knew was every once in a while he sang Born in U.S.A. So I went down and got it's about Vietnam and the returning soldiers. Perfect. So I wrote the song, wrote all the, and I knew I had to get permission, so I wrote him a letter through the friends that I knew, and he said okay, and then away we went.